Hey people, it is Thursday, November the 16th. The time is currently 8:49 in the evening, and it is 7 degrees Celsius, and I am on Danforth Avenue, the far eastern end of Danforth Avenue, looking up at this New York-style pizza place, which I have never before tried. I'm going to be making my way further east along Danforth through a newly designated neighborhood that has existed for quite a long time, unofficially, but recently has become officially recognized, and that is Banglatown, a neighborhood of many Bangladeshi businesses and residences along Danforth Avenue, closer to Victoria Park. We're still a bit west of Main Street here, so I'll just walk us along the Danny, as this part of Danforth is called, until we make our way through Banglatown. We'll see how lively it is tonight or not. And last time I did walk through Banglatown, it had not yet been officially designated, but it was quite lively at that time. That was also a nighttime stream, but in much warmer weather than what we're currently experiencing here. Although it's not terribly cold, but it is not exactly t-shirt weather. And this part of Danforth is known for its sometimes interesting divey sort of bars. And I think these circular lights are a new addition. I noticed these earlier during a live stream I was making through the area. They're quite nice. So Banglatown lies adjacent to the Crescent Town neighborhood, right near the corner of Victoria Park Avenue and Danforth, which is right on the border between Old Toronto and Scarborough. And Victoria Park subway station is also there, and that's where I'm planning to take this walk to. So now we're entering an area called Danforth Village. We're approaching Main Street, and Main subway station is close by. it's much windier walking in this direction than when I was walking west. I barely noticed the wind at all. I was going in the other direction, but now it's quite strong. That's a new tower, not yet occupied. There's a training car. Right over there is the main subway station, which also connects to the streetcars. You can catch the 506 Carlton streetcar there and ride it all the way into the heart of the city. It's also looking south down Main Street. Eventually the streetcar line goes on to Gerrard Street and follows Gerrard right over the Don River. Looks like these circular lights extend all the way down. I wonder if they go as far as Banglatown. I should mention that this part of the eastern Danforth doesn't always have the best reputation, especially at night. Although it's still relatively early in the evening. But this area has been described as, quote, stabby, unquote. Not my words. But I have heard of quite a few incidents taking place, usually inside or outside of some of the bars strung along the Danforth here, which, as I mentioned, some of which can be quite divey in nature. There's a big box Canadian Tire store, but at least it fronts directly onto the street and doesn't have a sea of parking in front. So it somewhat passes as a more urban format store, at least from this side. This is a pretty authentic saloon, even has these swinging doors. I'm sure a lot of people had fun with those. Number of furniture stores along here. Variety and fruit market. Looks like it's closing up for the evening. Looks like Sim's Restaurant and Lounge is no more. And I was just saying, it looks like Sim's is no longer a business, but a new store is opening right next door. And I had to backtrack about a block because I realized up ahead that my camera had stopped recording without my noticing. So I'm just glad I noticed it before I went all the way to Victoria Park Station. It's crossing Dawes Road. And here's the Comedy Bar. Catch a live stand-up show. Shows every night. Toronto has a very strong stand-up comedy scene. One of the strongest in North America. And it's launched the career of many famous comedians. Got more stores closing up for the night. Quite a few furniture and appliance stores along the stretch. This is a large Leon's furniture store. Seeing more signs of the emerging neighborhood. And here's a gigantic Lowe's. This is a much bigger big box store than that Canadian Tire. And it does have a sizable surface parking lot on one side. And I think we're coming into Banglatown now. I wonder if there'll be any signage, such as on street signs or banners. That looks quite good. Just too bad it's not on both sides of Danforth. Instead, you have this hulking monstrosity across the street. I like how everything is very colorfully lit, though. The street signs still say Danforth Village. I think we're in the heart of the neighborhood now. And the colorful lights are still continuing on here. Fits in well with the neighborhood now. I just plugged in my power bank because I realized the battery on my camera was very close to dying. A supermarket. And you have a more run-of-the-mill supermarket across the street, a big metro store with a huge surface parking lot here. We're seeing the first signs of post-war suburban Toronto here as we're getting close to the Scarborough boundary at Victoria Park Avenue. And speaking of Victoria Park Avenue, we're about to cross it and cross over into Scarborough. So Victoria Park subway station is just a bit to the north, but I'm going to continue east along Danforth for a bit further. So I think some of the businesses do continue on into Scarborough here. And beyond this point, you just really head into the bowels of Scarborough. So I'm going to start heading up towards the Victoria Park subway station here through this sideway. This is Macy Street. There's a huge cluster of giant high-rise apartment buildings all around Victoria Park Station, known as Crescent Town. Those buildings date from the late 1960s. Toronto really went gangbusters with tower block construction starting in the 1950s and throughout the 60s and 70s. There are literally thousands of buildings scattered around the city. Big towering commie blocks, as they're often referred to as, due to their design, which is very similar to that which you see in the former Soviet Union or the Eastern Bloc countries. And most of these towers are populated by people of Bangladeshi descent or recent immigrants from Bangladesh. I can hear a subway train pulling into Victoria Park Station or out. Now, this is an area I've never walked through. I've walked through the part of Crescent Town on the west side of Victoria Park Avenue. That was several years back. And there's a train pulling out of the station right up ahead. And I think there's a walkway over here that will take me right to the station. I think it's right here. Let's look at the bus bays of Victoria Park Station. I found the entrance into the subway, so I'm going to start to wrap up this video here. I hope you enjoyed the walk along the eastern Danforth, making our way through the somewhat newly officially recognized Banglatown neighborhood. It was fairly lively on a November evening here on this Thursday night. So I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal as well as via my merch store. And there's also a super thanks button down below, and you can also become a channel member if you prefer to support the channel in those ways. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue. Whoa, what about this lighting?